Te tai me mau hari, te tahi o me mau hartu e mau te paraparau a. Te tāhui o rā, o hei ki tō mai te raparau e no tiru o tumu. Ia parau e no tiru o tumu e o to i mau i roto. E ene pei te raparau na o tō mo tā me parau o te hiru o tumu, ti roto to i amatu tiru o tumu.
So he is saying that when we've got the invitation, when we've been invited to come to Taiwan, he has been staying for a long time and thinking about it and say, is it a dream or is it for real? And he said that he couldn't stay over there. He thought that he has to come. And his great pleasure was to see that we share the same culture, we got the same roots, and this is, and all we've been talking is also the subject, the theme was really like weaving, but it was not only weaving about waves and writing, but it was also weaving our feelings and our heart, and that was the first impression that he had.
Tēria parau rā, e parau nene me te trau i rata o. Nā mau e whaiti te whauwa ata mau i hare mai. Nā te me norto mai mau i te pū, mau ti hare mai. Te waira ke te pai ti pūpū, hare mai maua, e hio, te mea ta mau i hare mai, e hamo ane te api, e hane te whauwa. Ia hoi maua, i ra mau whaiti te whauwa, ta mau i hare ane.
When we left the island, we left our friends, we left our children, we left our NGO, and when we came, we learn a lot, and we share a lot, and we want to be sure that our NGO members over there, our families that we left, our friends, will benefit from that, and from what we have learned and what we have shared. And this is the first thing, is to give our impression, but also tell them about what we have learned and see here in Taiwan.
Te mea tai tape o me i nei a mai hare mai, wa hiti me hoa taraparau, i roto i te parau no tiru o tumu. Nā te me tamatou pū, ki roto mātou i tā rata i rei parau no tiru o tumu. Tamatou hui o tumu, me haere te whare hapi rā. Tamatou e whātu pūra, me haere te whare hapi rā. E ere rā te hipa nā mātou i a tai te whare hapi rā, nā mātou e ratai. Ai tato e pāpū mai te ia ue, te pāpū mai te ane se a ratai rei parau tiru o tumu.
The thing that was very important that we learn is the importance of culture and preservation, and of course with that goes with the language, and looking at the diversity and looking at all the issues that we're facing. The most important thing and our concern is about to lose our language and to lose, of course, our culture. And when we go back in our country, in our island, we have children in our group, in our center. We welcome them and we teach our language, and more again when we go back, we will reinforce that and make sure that our children will benefit the best of what we have and the best of what we learn. But it's very important to see, to also say that we cannot be close, we have to open, and being open, before you open, you have to be very sure in your culture, very full of your culture, and then after be global. This is what he says.
the Biocode project?
Te opuar apa e tatau e rawera I te parau ano te tuatapa para I natura e te moi oa ne o te oa ne o te ura au nenhea ne tatau e praparau e te motumu prau.
Maru me te tānga. Tiro o tumu, ai te hi o tumu I rapa ai te whenua e te tai. Te whenua, ti roto te parau te whauwha ai ana, no o tiro o tumu. Te tai, te waira te whauwha ai roto I ana, no roto tō mai tiro o tumu I parau te tai. Hoi a rau pū ai. Whauwha o I parau tiro o tumu I te whenua, whauwha o I parau hiro o tumu no roto I tai. E te e whauwha ana o hoe, e veho o hoe.
So he's saying that when your environment is clean, is healthy, your culture is healthy. And so of course people are healthy. So you need to preserve your environment. So the project of Biocode was to do an inventory of all the specimens of an island, the ecosystem of the island, and of course to give to each specimen a barcoding, genetic barcoding. And for us it was very interesting to see all these researchers coming and do this process and trying to find all the species of the ecosystem, looking at marine life, looking at terrestrial life, looking at every living creatures on our island. But what is interesting for us was also on the cultural side to try to document this culturally. I mean, it was very important to look at the species and also to try to identify if we have what did they do to about the use of each species. And that's why we were very interested in the Biocode project, but also we would be very, very interesting to move with this other project on culture side. How do we look at things? How do we look at species and how do we use it? And I mean, on medicinal plants, on the fish, on habitats, on everything, every living creatures. So the goal was to take all this barcoding, which will build a database, but to take this and then after to work on it and to do the inventory of what were the use and before and today and maybe in the future what will be the use. And it was for us a good way to protect the knowledge, because once you report it, you can say, oh, this is what Papa Mape has said. He talk about this fish, different stage. This is the different names. Why is it different? You know, and what's the use of it? Is it eatable or is it important? And why was it important in terms of conservation? So that's why we were looking at this project. Well, if we had fundings for that, and it would be great. It's to have that as a community base and as a community goal. It gets the people together when you have to work it on a community base and trying to involve people, because the more they know about it, the more you raise awareness in terms of conservation. And that's why for us it's a good project to build ties between the community and have the youth, the younger children working on it, the younger people working on this project and trying to document, to go and interview the elders, to go and interview the specialists like the Tahua, and get all these database, and also a good way to say, oh, this is what this person has been saying about this plant. Is it all right? And doing a lot of this will have a lot of, I'd say, samples of what people are using these things for, specimens for. If you hurt the ocean, the land will suffer. So when you do things, you have to be responsible. Don't think about you, but think about the future. And this future, it doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the next generation.
Maru Maru.
Maruru.